All right. Hey guys, welcome back to the Underground. This is Interactive Chat Volume 28, our weekly solo podcast where we talk about everything PSVR2 related. Today, we are going to have a little discussion and share some final thoughts about the PlayStation showcase that happened yesterday, the long anticipated PlayStation showcase that happened yesterday. We're going to talk about some of the good, some of the bad, some of the very interesting. And then, of course, Cosmodread stealth dropped yesterday, much to our surprise. And I had the chance to play a couple hours of it and want to share some first impressions. Don't worry, I have a feeling we're going to see that game a lot on this channel. So can't wait to share some thoughts on that. What is up? Blue Jew, the Underground Game Cat Elite Name Squad in the house. Bambino Ramos, Salvador, time to play VR. Good to see all of you guys here today. So hope you're having a great week so far. Hope you're getting some good gaming. Hopefully you've been playing some of these awesome games that have been out, like Walkabout Mini Golf and Red Matter 2 and Poker Stars VR and shit. Nock just dropped today as well. There's more games coming very, very soon. The only game I'm kind of avoiding right now is Hello Neighbor Search and Rescue because of yikes. Definitely some bugs and stuff with that. I haven't actually had the chance to check it out. I'm just trusting my good friend Brian and his opinion on that. I mean, don't want to play a game that's broken. That's a little unacceptable. But Nock, I've been playing that a little bit actually, and it's pretty good. It's pretty solid. Like, you know, I'm more of a single player guy, so a game built around multiplayer, you know, I like the game. The gameplay's fun. My only complaint, I would say, is like I want to be able to earn XP against the bots because I like to play against bots, and I think this has pretty good AI in it, and they're pretty fun and challenging. So I wish I could do some of that and get some XP for it as well. But I see what they're doing there. It's a clever trick to make you play multiplayer, I guess. But yeah, man, Nihilus Ryan, the game feline, thank you so much. Starting the tip train going. Appreciate the donation, my friend, and all the support as always. Says, hey, Jizzle. People used to call me Hey Jizzle back in the day. True story. Making Thursdays better. Hell yeah, man. Let's make your Thursdays suck. Just a little bit less. So good to see all of you, man. What up, Willie Fontenot, Dememer? We'll get into that for sure. So let's actually let's go ahead and get into it now. PlayStation Showcase happened yesterday. Full reactions and everything. You can go see it over on PSVR2 Without Parole. I had Wes, Brian, Miles with me and got to join them, and it was really, really fun time hanging out with them as always. It's rare that all four of us have the time to get together at once, so it was a awesome event for that alone. But as far as the showcase, man, people are pretty divided. There's some people are like, yeah, it was fine. And then there's some people that are really angry and disappointed. Now, I think coming from a VR standpoint, especially, you know, getting 6 to 8 minutes and stuff, when that's what you're mostly interested in, having to sit through all that other stuff, which looked all right, in my opinion. Some of the games looked okay. I'd say if there was one big problem with the showcase, I have one big gripe with it, is that Sony forgot to show up to their own party. They hosted the damn thing, and they had maybe the weakest showing of them all. And I think the big disappointment not necessarily comes from the games that were shown, because honestly, and we're going to get into these games for sure, I think the disappointment was the lack of surprise and oohs and ahs. It's like, okay, some of this is great news, some of this looks cool, but a lot of this we knew already. So I think the biggest problem with the showcase itself was that Sony's very weak showing with their first party stuff. You know, they really are leaning on third party and indies, who really, like, we all should give a round of applause to, because they are holding Sony up right now. Now, in Sony's defense, man, uh, they have been releasing some big titles. Like their first, some of their first party studios, they did show Spider-Man. We got to look at some of their other stuff, which I wasn't too crazy about. Obviously, it's not VR, but even just as an observer, because I was very much an observer yesterday, and like even some of their stuff, they're definitely making some questionable decisions as to like what they thought people would get excited about. Lots of CGI trailers, even with some of the VR games. Again, we'll get into that. I'm not a huge fan of CGI trailers, lack of info, lack of release windows, release dates, gameplay, things like that are really what get me excited. I like, I don't mind CGI trailers when they're mixed with gameplay. But all by themselves, it's like, okay, that looks cool. Is the game going to look anything like that? We have no idea. But yeah, man, definitely, I would definitely chalk this up as a huge missed opportunity for Sony. But I don't think it's the end. I don't think it's like everything is doom and gloom. I'm not there yet. It's just we had kind of expectations for something, and we wanted to see what Sony was bringing to the table. And aside from Spider-Man, there really wasn't much they were offering, if at all. It was very scarce offering by them. So, that being said, some of the games that we did see were pretty cool, pretty exciting stuff. But yeah, hopefully. So somebody asked in the chat, do we think who was that? Because I want to hear what you guys have to say as well. Oh, so Demimer says, hello, AJ. Hello, Demimer. Says, do you think we're going to see any PSVR2 games at Summer Game Fest? To be honest with you, man, I'm not super hopeful when it comes to seeing big PSVR2 things or PSVR VR related things. We don't usually, we get less of that at Summer Games Fest and stuff. Jeff Keighley events, the Game Awards, things like that. There have been a few surprises, so maybe there could be like, something. I wouldn't expect any huge like Sony first party stuff, especially in like VR, to show up there. But you never. I think we've gotten like a Among Us announcement or something, and I don't know. I think maybe Behemoth was shown there. Was that the first place, or was it a meta showcase? So maybe it was. We did get Behemoth, which was pretty cool, but who knows? If we do get some cool announcements from Summer Games Fest, I wouldn't expect a lot, but here's hoping to at least like, something that's of significance that's pretty fun and exciting. Really, State of Plays and PlayStation Blog have been really the best place where Sony have relegated this news to. And so that's where I kind of expect to get the most exciting stuff, sadly. I'd like to see more of it on the big stage. We did get a couple things here. And let's go ahead and get into that, actually. Because there was a total of 6 games that were shown at the showcase that we got to see. Time to Play VR says, do you think they're holding something big back? I definitely think they are. I don't know how it relates to this show, maybe, but I do think that they have maybe not a lot, but I do think they have some quality stuff that's coming down the pipeline that they haven't shown yet. One of my big hopes and prayers was for Astrobot to get shown yesterday. I'll be honest with you, while I was hoping for that, I originally was feeling that, that's something we may even not see until next year, believe it or not. Usually at a console launch, the thing really starts picking up momentum and speed and games within, after the first year or even 2. But I do think we had a great launch. I do think there's several titles still coming this year that are really cool. And there's several games that have not been announced yet. 100% guarantee that. So, but you know, as far as a roadmap, I think this wasn't. This is what we were hoping for, was a big roadmap, something to say, okay, you can show this and say this is coming out within 2 to even 3 years. I think they could have stretched it to saying, you know, something. If it's a big announcement, as even so much as a logo would have gone a long way for something to get people excited here. It's a little bit of damned if you do, damned if you don't, because I know a lot of the times I never really had a problem with games being announced like, you know, a couple years in advance, even if it was just a logo or something, because you just have that build up, that anticipation of then you first show the logo, then several months or a year later you drop the first gameplay or the first trailer for it, and then you start to get details as it gets closer, and that's just traditionally like how I'm used to getting games announced and seen. And you know, the stuff like with what they did with Gran Turismo VR, it was like literally 2 months before launch, and then Jim Ryan comes out on stage for 5 seconds and goes, Gran Turismo VR, here's 5 seconds of gameplay. And like, that's a huge freaking deal. That's something that should be celebrated, and something that could have really had a ton of build up going into launch. But alas, to be honest with you, like I said on the Gamescast, they're actually showing signs of improvement, which I know. And I look, at the end of the day, if you're not happy with it, look, don't come tell me. Like, I can help you. I will listen to you. Yes, you come tell me. But at the same time, don't forget to go and make your voice heard. Go out there and tweet Sony, tweet Herman Holst, you know, use social media to express whatever it is you're feeling and that you want to see. Don't be afraid to share and express how you feel about shit. Because like, otherwise what you feel, if you're feeling angry about it, then you're not doing anything to help it. Like, so I encourage you, if you are dissatisfied with this showcase, yeah, tell me about it, but also don't forget to you know, let it be known out there. Those people listen. I've got people that from Sony that follow me on Twitter and stuff. Like, they do listen to some degree, and they care about what you have to say, but you have to let it be known. Looper, the Underground Game Cat, another Elite Name squad in the house tonight, says Red Matter 2, Retribution, Ghostbusters VR. You know what's common between these three titles? I don't know, Looper, the Riddler Game Cat. No, I don't know what the similarity between them is. At least here, you put me on the spot. I don't know. Jank Media, thank you for the donation, man. Thank you guys for the support. ATEC Cybernetic PSVR2 remastered. Nah, they can keep that. They can keep that, homie. That wasn't very good. And I don't even know if we'll ever see that shooter game that they were supposed to make too. I gave up a long time ago on that studio. But yeah, man. So let's kick things off. The first thing they showed was Five Nights at Freddy's. Aren't you all excited? Okay, look, I'm freaking excited. I know I get some backlash, some pushback on this game. I know it's like, I guess, marketed for kids and stuff, younger audience. I enjoyed the hell out of the first Five Nights at Freddy's VR game. So I'm actually pretty excited about this. Steelwool Studios made a really good, polished horror puzzle game. And I thought it was a fun time. And it literally saved Halloween one year for me when there was nothing else. And then they dropped the Dreadbear DLC. Yes, this game is like extremely popular with younger audiences and stuff, but I still enjoyed it a ton. And I'm looking forward to checking this one out. There's not much more to say on that. It's Five Nights at Freddy's. It's coming this year, apparently, late 2023. So that's kind of nice. It'll maybe be out spooky season, which would be good. Looper the Underground Game Cat follows it up again and says, what Red Matter 2 Retribution, Saints and Sinners Retribution, and Ghostbusters VR have in common is that they were all revealed last year at Meta's Gaming Showcase. Okay, there's the connection there. I was wondering. Because, yeah, honestly, Meta, I think their showcases, like, they do a pretty good job with you know, understanding what VR gamers want, and you know, while I do think Sony has, like, you know, typically better games and hardware overall, and the stuff has more stuff that I like to play, I do think Meta does developers pretty solid when it comes to marketing and advertising them, and you know, it gets a smaller audience, but they, you know, I do applaud them for their marketing. They know what's up. I wish Sony would take a look at their VR marketing and take a page out of their book, because they're doing it 10 times better than what Sony does, and they're building better relationships with developers than what Sony is doing. That being said, Sony still is supportive. They still do talk to developers. Just not everybody is happy, is what I would say. Especially some that deserve to be there, be on the big spotlight. But the next thing they showed us, this was possibly the biggest announcement, and this is a huge, huge deal. I cannot overstate how big of a deal this is. And that is, we got confirmation that Resident Evil 4 is going to be officially the full main campaign, just like Resident Evil Village was. And this is huge, man. You know, we kind of knew that this was coming. A lot of us that, like, you know, follow everything PSVR2, and we know, you know, we kind of saw this coming. This is also, let me get this out of the way. This is also the second time they've announced this. They literally rehashed this announcement just to say, oh, it's the full game this time. This was literally the first thing that was announced by Sony for PSVR2 and State of Play last year. So it's a little goofy. That being said, let's not overlook how awesome of an announcement that this is. And let me just say, Capcom, man, their legs must be getting tired from holding VR on their back for so long. They are literally doing, I think, more than anybody else when it comes to getting the mainstream audience's attention, getting people to buy headsets. So big, like a round of applause for Capcom out here, putting VR on their back and making kick-ass hybrid games, and you know, getting people to buy headsets. Man, they deserve a round of applause for that, because, man, Resident Evil Village is arguably the best game on PlayStation VR 2. It's not even like a completely perfect port, but just that game design, that gameplay, when you have that the gunplay, man, of Resident Evil is just a match made in heaven with VR. And this is basically, along with a couple other things, this is like the main reason I wasn't super pissed off, because it is a relief to get, you know, it was a big sigh of relief to say, oh, like, it's not just some VR mode, it's not some VR content thing. That is a big deal to me, because, you know, 5 years ago, we maybe would have just gotten a VR mode or something, like a I don't know, it's hard to say that word anymore, because now it is a VR mode, but it's not the same thing that it used to mean. This game was getting 10 out of 10s across the board for its flat version. This was obviously a classic title. I've played the entire game on the Quest 2, and this just looks insanely better in every single way. So it's really, really nice to get a next-gen remake of Resident Evil 4 and get the full game in VR. It is super cool. Not to bring it down again, but they basically, again, just announced that it's being developed again, which we already know, which they already said publicly on Twitter, but I guess they just said it again on a big spotlight. But man, the graphics look gorgeous. I expect it to look similar to Resident Evil Village, which, you know, again, it may not be like every last little thing perfect, but it's pretty perfect in my book. It's not always, you know, there's like maybe a little bit of aliasing at most. Other than that, though, it is nothing short of absolutely stunning. And the gunplay is really good. I love how they show that you can actually block with the knife in this too. So that'll be really cool. It's gonna be badass to play. It's awesome playing as Leon in first person. And yeah, this game just looks incredible, and I cannot wait. Huge announcement right here. This one is gonna sell some headsets for sure. I promise you. It's already selling headsets. But with VR, as usual, you come for the AAA games and then you stay for the indies. I mean, like I said, man, indies are really doing a great job. Now, here's another exciting one. Pretty exciting. This was one of the, other than Five Nights at Freddy's, this was the other new game that was announced for PlayStation VR2. And this is Arizona Sunshine 2, which is a sequel to one of the best-selling VR games originally, known well for its just simple pick-up-and-play zombie shooter mechanics. And it looks like they have... I like the concept of this trailer. This is the thing, is that this is all a CGI trailer. This is the one thing that worries me about this, is that this is all CGI. And for some games, one game I think I've given a pass for, and that's because it came from Skydance Interactive with Behemoth, because they have a proven track record. The thing that worries me a little bit here is that Vertigo Games with Arizona Sunshine and stuff, it's a fun, solid game, but it definitely is not this polished as it looks in the CGI trailer. But what they're showing though looks pretty awesome. At least what they're showing from the concept. This game is also slated to come out this year, but the thing that excites me the most about this is that it is written by our good friend Rob Yescombe, who wrote Farpoint. This is like probably my favorite writer in video games, if not just one of them. But he's up there. But Rob Yescombe, who wrote Farpoint, which had a story that like blew my mind. Farpoint is such a great game because of the story. It's not like in so many ways. I love the voice acting, the writing, just the cinematography of it all. It was such a good sci-fi adventure, and Farpoint was the first game to make me go, this is the VR is the future, just because of how amazing it was. So I expect this game to have a pretty damn good story, and one that I'm probably personally going to love a bunch. I already, like, in the first game, the main character made me cringe a lot, and this guy, this does not seem that it's not giving me that same impression a little bit. That's what happens when you have somebody with the talent of Rob Yescombe. By the way, also did Invisible Hours, which was basically nothing but a story and was still amazing. And then also, he's done a bunch of stuff, but he also did Crysis 2. I'm just basically naming the stuff that I played. And I remember playing Crysis 2 back in the day when it came out. And I remember going, why is the story of this so good? Like, I was just playing this because suit engaged and all this stuff. But I remember thinking to myself, like, why is the story for Crysis 2 so good? Or like, why do I like it so much? And so it's no surprise to me that I found out later that, well, it was a big surprise, but that it was written by Rob Yescombe, just a fantastic writer for video games. And like I've told every studio needs to hire this dude. Please just make every game written by this guy, because he's awesome. Fun fact too. I think it was sometime last year. I jumped into After the Fall, and I see this avatar of this thing, and it says Yescombe or something, R. Yescombe. And I just walked up to him like, Rob? Is that you? And we talked a little bit, so now I know why he was hanging out with the Vertigo peeps. Is because he was writing the story for this. It all makes sense now. But super cool dude, and super amazing writing. But as far as the gameplay, it looks like they're going for some additional gore. It looks like they got a lot of stuff to interact with here. My other favorite thing is that you have a dog. I love companions in games, pet companions. I love animals, and I love having pet companions in games. So I'm pretty excited to have a dog companion here that you can use, and I hope this is really good, man. I mean, like I said, only CGI coming out here. When you go to the website, all I saw was concept art. So I'm like, where's the gameplay? But if it's coming out this year, it's got to be, I guess, coming along or something. It'd be nice. Maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll see it at the Meta Showcase. Maybe that's part of some of the reason. Yeah, maybe we'll see more stuff. If not at the Meta Showcase, I imagine we'll see it later, sometime later this year before release. But yeah. So this was a good announcement. You know, I'm looking forward to trying this one out, and I really hope it's good. And I know some people are tired of zombie games, and I don't blame you. But they usually make for really fun games most of the time. I hope this is pretty good though. We got let's see what you guys are saying. Let's kick it over to the chat real quick for a second. How is Hello Neighbor? It's buggy. You know, the flat screen game of Hello Neighbor was also buggy, so it's not super surprising, but there's some really game-breaking stuff in here. You maybe want to wait, at the very least, maybe wait for a sale, wait for a few patches. I haven't played it myself yet, so I don't know. Request it on Saturday, and we'll jump in and play it for the first time and get a first impressions together. Brandon says, I was hyped, but Brian made me think, was that any of that actually? No, it says, the Arizona Sunshine says at the beginning that it's not gameplay, so no. Muz says, show is disappointing. I really had high hopes that Sony would handle the PSVR2 better than PSVR, but here they are again, dragging their feet still on giving us announcements. Got to do better. I do think it's important that we demand better from Sony. Like, again, you know, I think a lot of the third-party devs, I think a lot of the indie devs did a great job here. They gave us really their best shot. And Sony just really, they didn't do any of these people any favors by not kind of giving a little bit more. I don't think it was like horrible. I agree with you if you think it was disappointing, especially with the expectations behind it. I think that's on Sony to set the right expectations, and clearly, people did not have their expectations set accordingly. And we tried to prepare for it, but you know, like after so long of time has passed, these developers, it's a weird spot right now because some of these developers have had a couple years to work on stuff, to get projects going. The time that it takes, what kills me about game development and seeing the progress of game development is how long it takes to just get the game freaking started. I mean, I understand there's a lot of that goes into it beforehand, and then you start making the game. But good God, it just seems like there's way too much downtime in between. And they also could be working on projects as well. But yeah, I don't know. Some of these game dev cycles are just so much time getting things in order, and you know, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of investment, so it's understandable. And when you want AAA games, when you want them to be super polished, they take even longer. So, and yeah, like I said, they just got off, like stuff like Sony Santa Monica just got off releasing God of War. There's people that, you know, the Housemarque made Returnal. Resident Evil Village just came out. Well, actually, they just made 2 Resident Evil games. Insomniac has done a pretty crazy job doing a bunch of games, releasing a bunch of AAA games in a row like that. Of course, we're waiting for Naughty Dog, Sucker Punch, a lot of these big name studios with great track records. And we want to see, you know, we want to see what they got, which who knows when that'll be. It could be next year. It could be later this year. Let's see. Yeah, no Astrobot hurt for sure. I was ready for it. What up, Dead Ringer? Shout out to you and the juniors. All right, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. We did get a new look at Crossfire Sierra Squad, which I thought it was interesting. Did anybody else find it interesting that this was here and Firewall was not? You know, I don't know. I guess this one's coming sooner. So that would be the number one reason. I'd like to think anyways. But yeah, this is coming out this summer. This looks to be a pretty fun game. You know, it's the same details. They supposedly had some new details, but we kind of knew already. It's 13 single player missions, 50 squad missions. Thank you. Thank you, Sal. Says catch y'all on the replay. Thank you, homie. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate the support. This game I'm pretty excited about though. Like I said, I'm a single player guy, but I do love some co-op PvE shooters. Like I enjoyed the hell out of Resistance back in the day. I know that the Crossfire X or whatever was a disaster. I'm hoping this is not the same situation. Really, really hoping. I think this game will have an advantage being a VR game and actually, you know, could be a really fun time. From the people that got to preview it, they said it seemed really polished. Graphically, it was clear and the gunplay was good. So I'm excited to try this single player. I'm excited to try this co-op campaign, and I'm excited to try the Horde mode on this. It could be a lot of fun. And just over the top. And yeah, so that's all I got for that. Really looking forward to Crossfire. Next, we got another big one, which was pretty awesome. Hold on, before we get into this. Superlastic Bubble Plastic Game Cat, love your name still. Thank you so much for the donation, man. Says, I wasn't disappointed with the showcase. I just wanted more. Didn't really know what to expect. A Christmas story. Be sure to drink your Ovaltine moment for sure. Yeah, man. Again, I think I'm putting any disappointment really goes out to Sony here because I feel like they're the only ones that didn't show up to their own big event. Or at least they had the weakest showing of their own. It's like throwing a party and then not showing up to it. It's like, that was rude, Sony. But again, we got to this is why it's so important that we support indie developers, support third-party developers and stuff too, because, you know, they're really the unsung heroes in many cases that are bringing us some of the best games and stuff. It's really important, man. That's why go out, support Red Matter 2, go out, support Walkabout Mini Golf, and stuff like that, man. We need these people to grow that are bringing us great games. And they need to be supported as well. Let's see here. But yeah, man, I definitely like one announcement from Sony, one PSVR2 announcement from a Sony first party. Give us a logo. Tell us Astrobot is coming next year. Literally could have said Astrobot next year logo. And we would have lost our shit, man. Would have lost our shit. Give us a logo, homie. What's a guy got to do for a logo around here? But anyways, man, Synapse. Also, this is we got a brand new look at Synapse coming from End Dreams, creators of Fract, Phantom Covert Ops, Shooty Fruity are their probably most notable titles, at least for me. masters of the run and gun cover shooter with the cover mechanics where you get to grab the things. Guys, this trailer, like when I first saw this trailer, I'll be honest with you, the one from the State of Play, another reused game, unfortunately, but I will say this is looking really, really cool. I've said before, I've never been into games that have like telekinesis or some of these like first person shooter stealth games. When I look at this, I kind of get these like, I don't know why, like Deathloop, Dishonored, almost like Arcane vibes. But I know that End Dreams is really trying hard to, become like a triple A VR developer, and they've definitely made some big strides in the right direction. But they love seeing Astro dance, by the way. Thank you guys. There's two bonuses. I mean, I appreciate the support of the donation, but you also get to see Astro dance in a little chip tune. How about that? But yeah, man, this trailer, I think finally I decided, yes, I am sold on this 100%. Because this looks like a polished, this does look like something you would see from a AAA studio or a, AAA third party studio, something like that. It just looks extremely polished. It looks really, really good. And we know how much End Dreams cares about good gameplay and good gunplay. And they are really, really, it was also interesting to see some color here. Obviously this isn't going to be the entirety of the game. We got some story details of this where you're playing as some elite secret operative, secret agent or something, and you're basically going and using this device to go into this guy's mind, which kind of explains why the game looks all black and white and weird and trippy. And you have these powers, and the person's brain that you're going into is none other than David Hayter. So pretty cool that Solid Snake is returning once again to VR. I love it, man. This will be the third game I've played with David Hayter in it. Although he's playing the antagonist, and I'm like, damn it, I want to play as a character that, I usually don't like when the VR first person character talks a bunch. But if it was David Hayter, I'd like want it talking the whole time because I just love his voice. Metal Gear. Actually, this also stars Jennifer Hale, also of Metal Gear Solid fame and much more than that as well. And this will be the second game I've played with both of them in it. Both of them did voices in the camouflage game Republic, and it makes a difference, man. When you have like some really cool star power like that, I really enjoyed having them both do voice acting in Republic, which I also really enjoyed that game as well. And then Phantom Covert Ops, Snake, David Hayter also played a bad guy in that, and he did a great job as well. He plays, I will say, he plays a good bad guy, but he plays the best good guys, man. But yeah, little bit of a new look at this. Excited about kind of the story a little bit, at least more so the voice acting, if anything. But the telekinesis, man, being able to pick things up. I know it's not the most original idea, but I think we were overdue for these kind of mechanics in VR. We haven't gotten to experience. It's one thing pressing a joystick and picking stuff up and pressing it to the left and the hand goes like this. It's another thing to actually have your freaking hand in there and grab this shit and throw it, and then combination with the haptics, the adaptive triggers, all that. And the way it's going to look visually, I think is pretty sweet. So I'm stoked for Synapse. Definitely jumped up to one of my more anticipated games here. I'm definitely excited about this. Silver Nexus, thank you so much for the donation, man. Appreciate the support, my dude. And it says, thank you for spreading your wisdom, Master AJ of the Game Cat Dojo. You're welcome, Grasshopper. I keep saying snack. I bet they hang. And he is accidentally name dropping. Oh, Snake. No, I wish, man. Step says, I feel like I missed out. Oh, Wanderer is coming, I think. I feel like you missed out, but I'm never going back to PSVR 1, unfortunately. Well, good news, my friend, is that Wanderer is coming to PlayStation VR 2. It is all but officially announced and released at this point, but it is 100% happening. That is for sure. So fret not, my friend, because that game is coming, and that is, whew, I mean, talk about, that's what I love about this day and age, when sometimes like indie developers or people can come out of nowhere and make a triple A game. Wanderer is just phenomenal in every single way. I think it's one of the best VR games ever made. I think it's like top 5 easily. Just an amazing, that's one thing that's kind of been missing from PSVR 2 right now, is like, and that's what people want, man. It's just some fun, story-driven action adventure games. And that's a little bit more of a puzzle-driven action adventure game, but it's like Red Matter, where it's like, you don't always feel like you're just going from puzzle to puzzle. You feel like you're following a narrative, following an adventure. And yeah, Wanderer is absolutely mind-blowing good, and I cannot wait for that. Definitely a missed opportunity. That should have been on the big stage here, because it's just an incredible game. I have to share with you guys one day the art book that they sent me, by the way. That shit is so cool. I don't usually collect art books and stuff, but that one is special. I've got it like locked away in a safe, because it is something special, man. I got to figure out how to share it with you guys for show and tell day. Finally, the last announcement, of course, was Beat Saber. Woo! Now, this is a pretty big deal. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Beat Saber is literally the most popular VR game of all time, so it makes sense why good old Jimbo's excited about it. Best-selling game, really popular game, and they announced it. It released yesterday as part of the showcase, and they did add the Queen music pack as well. I did check this out. This was my first time playing Beat Saber on PSVR 2, and it's not leagues ahead on PSVR 2. It looks great and everything. I think the big thing here, though, that I noticed was the tracking. The tracking is much, much better. I mean, it almost makes me feel like when I was playing on PSVR 1 that there was a little bit of a latency with the swinging, because the tracking is just so tight. And that's I think the biggest improvement here. Also, Queen rocks, and that's a really good music pack to have. I actually went out and bought the pack, because I will always support when they put rock music and metal music into rhythm games, because that's what I like music wise. But yeah, man, this is a big deal. Maybe not for us, this is old news for us, right? Like, this is like, yeah, I mean, this has been out we've been playing this for 5 years, big whoop. But at the end of the day, for a lot of people that have never played Beat Saber before, this is a fantastic title, an absolute must-have. And if you've never played it before, I envy you, because playing it for the first time. Also a great one to show off to friends when you have people over. This is another one to add to that your own personal showcase collection to people. So it'll serve some good there. All right. Before we get into the final thing of the day, what are you guys saying? I want to know. I don't think, like I said, man, I think you have every right to be disappointed with the showcase, especially coming from a VR standpoint. I don't think it's as bad as some people will make it out to be. But I do think Sony is at fault for some things here, between lots of CGI trailers, lack of information, lack of gameplay. timing and placement of certain things, but most importantly, lack of first party showing. That's the big backbreaker, I think, to the showcase, if anything. Otherwise, it was just like, it was fine. You don't see people clamoring how amazing of a showcase it was. That's the difference here, right? We're used to seeing the showcase, also calling it a showcase instead of a state of play. Just because it's twice as long or whatever? I don't know. But yeah, while it may not be the worst thing ever, you also won't see people clamoring over how amazing of a thing it was. But believe it or not, their marketing has slightly improved. I know that's scary, but it has improved. Back in the day, in 2018, I have like a 30-minute rant video with AWOL Soldier while we're playing Preda, and I'm like just cussing and swearing and all pissed off because they showed Trover Saves the Universe on E3 stage, and then like Firewall and Astrobot Rescue Mission they showed in like a PS blog, and I was like, are you kidding me with this right now? Like they're so out of touch sometimes with the gamers sometimes. And that was the previous regime as well. That wasn't even the people running the show now. I felt like Jim Ryan, I don't know if anybody else felt like this, but I felt like he seemed incredibly uneasy when he's up there like, thank you for your support. He's usually pretty calm and collected, and he's got a grin, and he's like, yeah, we're giving you this. We're going to let this do the talking. He sounded I just got this vibe like somebody had a gun up to him behind the stage yesterday. He didn't seem like he was comfortable being there for some reason. Game Cat Cowboy Dance has never played that. Beat Saber, not sure that I want to, but I'm happy that it came to PSVR. Yep, that's, fair enough. It's good, man. Yeah, if you've never played it before, I mean, dude, can't recommend it enough, man. It's funny seeing some people be like, Beat Saber is good. Wow, it's so good. It's like, yay. It makes me happy, man. It's kind of hard from this perspective. It's hard. It gets hard from our perspective where we have to play every single game. To the point where we just don't even. I told Brian this recently. I was like, man, it was getting to the point to where, especially 40 games at launch, it was getting to the point to where I had played so much stuff that I just couldn't enjoy anything anymore. Like even like Red Matter 2, I was like, it was like I don't know. I did enjoy it from start to finish, but there was a part of me that was just like, I should be way more impressed than I am, and I should be having way more fun than I am. But yeah, it's just too much sometimes. Too much of a good thing can be a bad thing sometimes. But anyways, so the biggest surprise yesterday, without a doubt, was the stealth drop of Cosmodread. Now, this is the sequel to Dread Halls, which, if you're new around here, let me tell you about Dread Halls because I know everything about it. Unfortunately, Dread Halls was possibly the biggest hidden gem. It was what I rated as the #1 hidden gem on PSVR, and it's basically a run for your life simulator. It's a game all about just running away from monsters and trying to escape the whole time. It had decent graphics, phenomenal 3D audio design. That was just, and I'm very sensitive to audio design, and it scares the living bejesus out of me. Cosmodread is a little bit different. It's not so much it's a little bit more complex from a gameplay standpoint. Let me go ahead and rip this Band-Aid off real quick because I got tons of good things to say about this, but I want to get this out of the way. Visually, it's not enhanced for PSVR 2 at all. It looks like a Quest game that was just straight ported, and visually it looks very dated. It's not blurry, but it just looks like, it doesn't look super impressive. Doesn't look like like high production value. It's like a one-man team or whatever. Where I'm really impressed with is the actual game design here. This game, I've played about 2 hours so far because that's all I've had time to, and I'm hooked to it, man. Like it has some really big surprises. So the difference between this and Dreadhalls mainly is that this is a roguelike game. This is kind of like roguelike Dreadhalls in space with guns, which is only 5 of you will get that. But it is a roguelike game where you're exploring a spaceship and there's different elements to it. There's lots of items that you can pick up and interact with. Most of the time, you'll be collecting them, and there's actually like there's like a fabricator on the ship. There's a lot of strategy to this game that I really, really appreciate. There's batteries in these walls, but they're like limited, so you have to take them out. All the lights and power go out in this one section, and you go put them somewhere else. And yeah, I actually think this game is very much like it reminds me a lot of the Persistence. I mean, for everybody wanting the Persistence, this doesn't have the production value of the Persistence, but it does replace the really insanely polished of that with really good built from the ground up VR mechanics. It's not perfect, but for the most part, I was really surprised about how good the gameplay and the game loop here is. And let me talk about the progression system some. So you're exploring this ship. The objective is to basically escape. There's a big map of the ship, and like Dreadhalls, this is randomized, which with each playthrough. Every time you die, or if I guess if you beat it, I haven't beaten it yet, not even close. There's a new kind of layout of the thing, and you're walking around, you're exploring, you're trying to find items you're trying to find these discs that you can deposit into these computers that have to be powered, and you can get like new items that you unlock, like new weapons that you can fabricate, and everything that you basically unlock in the fabricator. If you die, you get to basically keep those blueprints on your next run. So you can collect, there's like a whole lot of blueprints that you can collect, it seems. And then of course there are the monsters here, which are pretty cool. They're just like these goofy sci-fi space monsters. The playthrough that I'm playing right now, so this was another big surprise to me. On my first run, which took about an hour, I lasted about an hour on my first run. I was just kind of learning everything, learning the mechanics, learning to use the gun, how to reload it, learning to what items I need to use. Every item laying around, like there's like a Chinese food bucket, and like if you look at it, it'll actually tell you, oh, this gives you like one plastic or one bottle or one metal, different like things for crafting that way. So I love that system. But the biggest surprise to me was that after my first death, I was like, this wasn't as scary or intense or, it wasn't like I was hoping to kind of be like afraid and run for my life. Well, when I restarted my second playthrough, I went to new game and I noticed there's like a whole bunch of options here now. And one of those options, which is the playthrough here, was that it said replace every creature roaming around the ship with these weird spiders, a lot of them. So this playthrough was my second playthrough. I'm actually playing again, and this time, rather than having these big hulking things, the thing-looking monsters running around, now there's just like these creepy little bouncy eyeball spiders everywhere, and it actually changed up the gameplay. Well, it didn't just stop there. And you do have to. I'm just noticing now. You do have to use oxygen. You have an oxygen tank here. You have oxygen and health, and there's oxygen tanks, canisters lying around that you have to find. And you do have to breathe when your oxygen gets low. So there is a little bit of a sense of urgency to explore, which I like. Anything that makes it a little bit more crazy. But I have a feeling there's lots of like different kind of mods and stuff you can do. For instance, this first one, I had all these spiders here. There's like a robot thing you can see there. On my third playthrough, there was a new a new option that said, okay, now the ship is completely overrun with monsters and they're just everywhere. And this, my friends, is where I realized, holy shit, okay, it was just starting me off easy. But holy crap. So I got to start with this mode and I was like, I gotta see what this is like real quick and just run around. And there is, without a doubt, just freaking monsters everywhere. And man, I got jump scared like 500 times. There's things that will like, you'll shine a flashlight. It's a very dark game, by the way. You'll shine a flashlight on them and you'll look away and you'll come back and they'll just be like right there. Like they can like, there's like one monster that like teleports or some shit all around. And dude, it was hard and it freaked me out and it was glorious. Actually, I think it's toward the end of this video. Yeah, it's probably towards the end of this. I don't know if there's a way I can fast forward. I can maybe bring it up on a on another thing here, but you guys may just have to wait till I play it. But that's, you know, unfortunately, I can't progress that way because I have to get, you know, it's the big surprising thing here is that it's a true roguelike where, and I love that about it, where it's built like how roguelikes are supposed to be, where you start out, you get your ass kicked, you get some upgrades, you get new weapons now that are unlocked that you can start with and choose between. You go again, you get a little bit further, then you get your ass kicked. But unlike other roguelikes, this introduces a way where you can kind of modify your playthrough. You can say, hey, I want just spiders this time, or hey, I want more monsters this time, or I want a little bit more health and less inventory this time. It is a really well crafted game in terms of like the way they thought this out. Also, the lights flickering freak me the hell out. That is so effective. My biggest disappointment with this game actually isn't the graphics. The graphics were fine to me. Like I said, it looks dated. It looks like a Windows 98 game kind of at times. Early 2000s PC graphics. The sound design itself, I was not thoroughly impressed with. The most effective thing about Dreadhalls for me was the sound design. The monsters being thunderously loud. This has the proper creative sound design where you're walking around and stuff's making squishy noises and everything, but it's not as like loud as and intense and freaks me out with just the sound design alone as effectively as Dreadhalls did. So what I'm hoping is that this game does well enough to where it gets some additional support. I would love to see some visual enhancements here, and I would love to see the audio redesigned a little bit for the Tempest 3D audio. Take advantage of some of these things. It does have some adaptive triggers, which feel fine. They're not like a super noticeable. And I do like in the beginning where you're headed when you press start the game that you start going towards the ship and the headset rumbles a little bit. Again, I'm giving this a break because it's a one-man team, and you know, it's really impressive for what he has pulled off here, and it is a great, super addicting game loop. I would love to play some tonight. I don't know if I'm gonna have time to, but at the very least, this weekend. Make sure this is the last Saturday night live stream before I take a weekend off. So make sure you come and request some Dread Halls. Don't request that. Some Cosmodread. I think the developer has no idea how popular Dread Halls is in this community. And that you guys freaking made me play it every Saturday for like 3 years straight. He probably has no idea. Looper, thank you for the donation. Says, my number one Cosmodread tip, use the light to your advantage. It burns monsters' bodies and prevents them from respawning. Interesting. I didn't notice the light burning their bodies, but I did notice shooting him in the face worked pretty well. That's another different thing between Dread Halls and this is like you actually have like a gun and can defend yourself. But this is this is making me more upset that the persistence wasn't remastered and stuff. But at the same time, it's nice to play something new and creative and like again, indie developers doing more than Sony at times in terms of like, bringing the games we want to play, the experiences we want to have. This game is also $15 freaking dollars, man. It is a big thumbs up for me. I've only scratched the surface. I've only played it for about 2.5 hours. I'm sorry I didn't stream it yet, but I've just been really busy. But I'm hoping to get to play this some more and show it off, especially Saturday, and just get more live streams on the channel going overall, play some games and have fun with you guys. But yeah, man, I'm definitely digging this. Looper, another donation. Thank you, man. He says, you shoot them, they die, and then they get revived. Light burns. Oh, that's why. Okay, so pro tip from Looper, guys, for anyone picking this up. After you shoot them, shine the light on them because their bodies will burn up afterwards. That's why I went back to some areas and then they were there again. That explains a lot. I was like, oh, more. I just thought more were spawning or something. That's very interesting. So make sure you do that. Whoa, 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 whoa. Stop the presses, guys. You guys are crazy, man. Holy crap. Thank you, George Bravo, for subscribing. Welcome to La Familia. GC13 with a huge dono. Oh my God, GC. And a pretty pink donation. Can we just point out how pretty that donation is? There's more money to help support your PSVR2 purchase habit. Thank you. Thank you, all of you guys, man. I appreciate you guys so much, man. And yeah, Tiff, I look forward to seeing Behemoth at the Meta Showcase because that's probably where we're going to see all the VR games. The good news, guys, look, at the end of the day, the good news is we do have some Summer Games Fest. There will be more announcements coming out. There's already some games down the pipeline that are going to be really cool. There are things to be excited about and things to look forward to. And like I said, what they showed at the showcase wasn't necessarily bad. It's just weak showing from Sony first party. Big, weak sauce from them. But let them know about it. Again, let them know. But I have a feeling we'll see some good things to look forward to at the Meta Showcase. Meta's been, they've been really pushing to market VR hard. So we definitely benefit from that. And as you know, we get the PSVR2 versions of a lot of these games, which are enhanced and stuff. So, but yeah, thank you, GC, for that donation. I can't wait to see what y'all are doing next. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. All the support from you guys. And Looper again, still going strong, getting the last word in. Says no, only room light works. Okay. So you have to use the batteries on the wall. Oh, the footage right here I'm showing is the fabricator. It's pretty cool. So I'm just going around picking up items, seeing what stats they have, putting them into this fabricator, and then doing this. Good freaking game, man. Aceville says I got 5 on it. Thank you, homie. Oh man, appreciate you, dude. Really appreciate the support, guys. You don't have to do that. You guys are amazing, though. It helps a lot. Means a lot. What up, Markio? Gotta go. Also, by the way, if you picked up Zenith, go to Wave Rider US East and meet up with our dude Markio, the Game Cat Dojo co-leader. He'll get you started. He'll get you hooked up. This is the best community ever, man. I love you guys. But yeah, man, there's more to look forward to this summer. Somebody asked if I played Nock. Synonyms. Botch. I like that. I like that names. Synonyms. Says, have I tried Nock? Yes. I haven't spent enough time with it yet, though. I've only played for like an hour or two. Unfortunately, I have a little bit of a shoulder injury, and that game hurts my shoulder pretty bad. But it is similar to, like, you know, if you like Rocket League and stuff. I will say about Nock is when I'm kicking people's asses, it's a lot of fun. And when I'm getting my ass kicked, it's not fun at all. So 50% of the time I'm having a blast with it. 50% of the time I'm just like frustrated and want to rage quit. I like playing against the bots more than people. But the good news is that there's a lot of people that are new, going to be new to Nock. So right now is probably around the best time to play it with a lot of new player base to it. Not only more players online, probably, but more new players that you can get started with as well. Guys, wow. Et.2k9.now says, choo choo ka-choo. Thank you, man. SB, I'm looking at you, homie. We got SB in the house, y'all. He says, don't look at me. I'm not giving you nothing. I see you, SB. But guys, some awesome games to look forward to and everything, man. But that is it for now. Thank you for coming out tonight and having a grand old time, and gonna try to get some live streams soon. My bedtime is a little bit earlier now, so I don't get to stay up as much. I get up so early. I get up at 6. But overall, everything's going great, man. And yeah, man, just appreciate you guys' support as always. And I got keys for Budget Cuts. I got to jump into that. I haven't played Budget Cuts yet. Budget Cuts Ultimate. Shout out to the devs over there who gave us me, Brian, Wes, and Miles keys. So expect some reviews and coverage from us from that soon. I'm really excited to play Budget Cuts too. Really, really excited because yeah, it's been a while. Sci-Fi Game Cat Henry says, I tip AJ, but save my money for games. Go support these developers, Sci-Fi Game Cat Henry. They need your support. Remember, don't just buy, you know, if you can't buy their games, then go online and tell them, you know, spread the word about how amazing their games are if they're good, not shit ones. But don't forget to, you know, don't be afraid to be vocal. And like, if you're on Twitter and shit, tag me on there, man. I will like it. I will retweet it. I'll do whatever I can. We gotta really boost the support for these developers, man, because it's hard out here for them, and we gotta be supportive of them, the ones that make our games our best games and shit. Master Games Catster, thank you so much, man. I'm gonna get out of here soon before y'all keep. I'm getting, y'all are killing me here. I can't, man. I love you guys, man. Thank you. It means so much, man. I can't tell you how much it helps, and I really, really appreciate you guys so much, man. It is awesome. I appreciate the support. Helps me buy a lot of these games, a lot of these crappy games that I have to buy and play for you guys. It means a lot, man. Love you guys. But all right, dude, Resident Evil 4. Oh, cannot wait. Behemoth. Can't wait to see more on Behemoth. Like I said, we've only seen the CGI trailer, but that is from Skydance Interactive, who we know knows how to make badass games, man. And yeah, Synapse looking dope. Crossfire this summer. Arizona Sunshine and FNAF this year as well, which will be interesting. And yeah, and there's definitely some other stuff that is planned for this year as well. That'll be cool. GC says SDI is all right, I guess. Yeah, they're all right. They're cool in my book, okay? Don't hate. But guys, thank you so much once again, man. And we'll see you again Saturday, if not tomorrow night. If I've got enough energy and time, maybe we'll get some stuff going. Stream something tomorrow. But can't wait, man. Love you guys. You're the best. I will see you again very soon. At the very least, I will see you on Saturday night live stream. Don't forget, this is the last one before we take a little bit of a break from that. So get it while it's hot. Guys, as always, let's get out of here with some metal. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the evening, night, morning, wherever you are. I love you, and I hope you have a great day, night, evening, and rest of the week as well. Thank you, Wolveraza, Distracted, Markio, Unruly Cat, Guy, Sun, Fist Bump to you, ET.2K9.now, Aceville, GC13, Go D, Damn It, Go D, Synonyms, Botch, Sci-Fi Game, Cat Henry, all you guys, you have a wonderful day. I'll see you again very soon. Peace out, homies.